try this again. I recorded 2 videos actually yesterday. One on the way to work and one on the way home from work. My first shift back after 5 days off because a piece of essential equipment was down. Stop the spread of COVID-19, limit your travel. That's funny. That sign usually says slippery road conditions ahead. Or speed reduced. Instead, it's like every other authority figure is telling me to stay the fuck home. And pretty soon, we're not going to have a choice in that matter. We're going to go home and we're going to stay home. All but the most essential businesses are going to close, and we are going to have to hunker down and start getting through this. This literally cannot go on, and I'm already hearing whispers. I mean, of course it's coming. You know it's coming because people won't stop going to the beach and the bar. And hey, go support your local restaurant, like that asshole Devin Nunes said. What could possibly happen except for you spreading this goddamn virus even farther? Right? No virus is going to stop you from partying. And that's how divided and overly politicized our country is now. People are not smart enough to make the distinction between someone who doesn't believe in the same things as you politically and a fucking virus that is killing. And how many clips of how many idiots have I seen in the last 2 days, just the last 48 hours, of younger people out and about enjoying a nice lunch at a cafe, and the person with the camera rolls up near them and says, you know, what do you think about this whole epidemic, the whole pandemic and the outbreak? Oh, I'm not worried. You're not worried? Nope, I'm young and healthy. So you're not doing anything to prepare? No, nothing. You will be now. Thanks to you and everybody like you, you will be now. And I guarantee those people are going to be the first people to start screaming about martial law. You can't do this. I have rights. You forfeited your rights when you decided that you were more important than literally every human being around you. The numbers I've seen over the last couple days are nothing short of terrifying. We're going to lose a lot of people. We're going to lose a lot more than we normally would have, if not for these people who think they're above it all again. Oh, look, here we go again. Stop the spread of COVID-19. That's 2. And I believe there's 1 more before I make my exit. Out to another highway. Martial law is not the same as a nationwide quarantine. So, anyone who starts screaming about martial law and how they're trying to take away our guns and dumb, ignorant shit like that, say that shit anywhere near me, I'm going to immediately refute what you're saying. And if you force me to, I'll get loud about it. We don't have time for that bullshit. People are going to keep finding new and interesting ways to stop doing the right thing, or at the very least, once they're forced to do the right thing, they're just going to look for new ways to complain about it. This trucker is all over the road. It's a UPS driver, 18-wheeler. Oh, he's okay. Looks like he's reading directions or something. He's definitely got a sheet of paper up in front of his steering wheel, or behind his steering wheel. 90% of the traffic, by the way, that I'm seeing right now, it is 8:26 on the morning of Thursday, March 19th. 90% of the traffic I'm seeing, which, by the way, is 90% of the traffic, are trucks, 18-wheelers that are either hauling supplies or returning to home base. From the whispers I've heard, truckers are being ordered to return to port, so to speak. And all but the most essential won't be going back out on the road. You know what will be going out on the road? The National Guard. Very soon, the National Guard is going to be around to help us in this time of great need and unbelievable disobedience. And before I get any farther, let me say this one more time. I've said this so many times over the last few days, I feel like it's a part that I've been rehearsing for a play. The federal government, the state government, the CDC, and the WHO, all of whom are smarter than you, have told you to knock it off. They told you not to go to work. They told you to stay inside. They told you to help limit the spread of this virus because it is goddamn deadly. And to all of you who didn't think that this shit applied to them, congratulations. You've reaped the whirlwind, sunshine. And the rest of us are going to reap it with you. I, for one, am glad. And I know several other people who have been doing everything short of driving around, hanging out their car window and screaming at the stars. Fucking quarantine us! There's going to be a national quarantine. I'll be surprised if we get through this weekend without it dropping. Everybody done fucked around long enough. It's kind of been an amorphous thing in my head. The most immediate thing to me was to try to convey to as many other people as possible that we need to limit the spread of this thing. Why are we here? We need to be home. We need to stay home. Yesterday, in town, of course, all the schools are closed. The kids are taking this as an opportunities to get together and hang out, and the parents are fucking letting them. How many groups of teens did I see wandering around town? Go home. Stay home. How hard is this? It only gets hard after it's been enforced for a while and you can't go out and hang out with Bobby. Or you can't just run to Chipotle anytime you want a burrito. You can't run out for your Starbucks. Sorry, white girls who literally can't even. You're about to learn how to do it without. Because although the National Guard will undoubtedly supply you with emergency supplies, I don't think they're going to make a run to Starbucks for your caramel macchiato. I'm relieved. Having a few back and forths with some people last night. And hearing about this initially, and then putting some pieces together. I can't tell what state you're from. Wisconsin. Drive fast, drive safe, old man. Dude looked like Grandpa Joe from the original Willy Wonka movie. Lord knows what the hell he's doing in Ohio. Oh, you know what? Maybe he's been traveling in the last couple days and he's getting a family. Be safe, old dude. Be safe, Grandpa Joe. All day at work yesterday. I was uneasy. I was not happy. I was looking around and could not believe that I or anyone else was there. I couldn't believe that any of us were told to be there. It just felt wrong and off all day long, and the tension in my stomach. I had to force myself to eat yesterday while I was at work. And I didn't even taste my food when I did. Limit travel, stop the spread of COVID-19. I mean, there it is. There's the third and final sign before I make my exit onto another state route. Man, I really wish my left turn signal wasn't going bananas for no reason. Other than the quality and craftsmanship of this vehicle. Anywho. Speaking with some people last night, having a couple exchanges back and forth. I don't think there's any way we're getting through this weekend without a nationwide curfew. Not curfew, quarantine. It's not be home at such and such a time. It's go home, stay home. I mean, they've tried to be nice about it. You guys wanted to, some people out there, I know some people personally who are going to lose their fucking minds over this. They can't tell us what to do. This is bullshit. They tried to be nice about it. And at this point, I can't be nice about it, so I'm going to say it this way. They tried to tell you nicely, assholes. You didn't want to listen. I didn't even listen. Because I quote-unquote needed the money. And where do you think I'm going right now? Back to work. Because I need the money. And because I'm sorry, but I've only got so many vacation days. I'm taking every fucking precaution. I'm just as guilty as anyone else right now. Just because I'm not at home. We did it to ourselves. You did it to yourselves. Especially those of you out there who've just been continuing to go out. It's not just a matter of social distancing at this point. A large part of the problem is that too many people still watch like the NBC, the ABC, CBS Nightly News, which is nothing. It does not give you accurate information. It does not give you full and complete information. Even those of you who watch other channels, MSNBC or Fox or CNN, you're still not getting the entire story. You have to go and find the rest of the information. They're not presenting it to you properly. The numbers never seem to be right when I'm watching a standard news program, okay? They always seem to either be a little bit behind or way the fuck off, depending on the level of propaganda that station is trying to push. And no, I'm not kidding. I understand that. I'm not a moron. Look at that. Truck, more trucks over there. Comparatively few cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Most of the traffic are box trucks and semis. People either dropping off shipments or beating feet back home. I don't want to hear people complaining once you're told to stay home. I don't want to hear people complaining. They're trying to save our goddamn lives and your life too. They're trying to save your parents' life. There's a lot of people. I've been trying to tell people this for a few days now, which feels like a few weeks, because at the rate things keep getting discovered, reported, and then immediately buried because something else horrible happens right on the heels of it. All these young people in their 20s and early 30s and shit, they're like, yeah, I'm young, I'm fine. No, you're not. It doesn't just attack the elderly, all right? There are young, healthy people, 20, 22, 24, 26 years old, that are getting this shit and getting hospitalized. And even when they get out, they're looking at, like, organ damage. Your lungs are going to be scarred. This isn't something that's why, in a few weeks I'll be better. You'll be a little bit better. People are not taking this seriously, man. That's why pretty soon your asses are going to be forced to stay home. You can take your dog out for a shit in the yard, and I'm sure you'll be allowed to come outside for some fresh air whenever you need to, especially once the weather breaks. But we're looking at least a week. And if they're going to go to the extreme of mobilizing the National Guard, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of our military was there to back it up, just to make sure there's no looting and rioting. If they're going to this extreme, has anyone else noticed that the National Guard is, in most major metropolitan areas right now? They've been helping with food distribution, medical supply distribution, stuff like that. You know what the National Guard is there for, why it exists in the first place. They're going to be spreading out into the outlying areas of the major cities that they're currently in. And they're going to be backed up by military. When the quarantine goes into effect, don't be stupid. Stay home. Follow the government's directives. It doesn't matter if you agree with the guy in the White House or not. Look at the situation. For those of you who don't like the president and don't want to listen to anything he has to say or his administration, you know by now who to pay attention to and who to listen to. The smartest people in our country are going to be giving us the correct information. At times, it's not going to be the best people. But they finally understand how bad this situation is and how much worse it's going to get, okay? We have to listen when this shit drops. Don't be stupid. Don't be sneaking out for a dare. And don't bitch about the government up one side and down the other. They fucked up. They absolutely fucked up. They underplayed how serious the situation was from the get-go. And people who aren't willing to accept the scale of something like this bought into that shit hard. They didn't want to go looking for any more information. They didn't want to believe any of the rising numbers, especially where the problems are concerned. We don't have that luxury anymore, people. We're looking at the death toll over 1 million in our country. If we're lucky, it won't be too far above that. But the numbers are not good. And a lot of that is because of people who just refuse to stay home. They tried to tell you. They tried to tell you. They tried to be nice about it. Now, it's literally everyone's problem. It's been everyone's problem. But the situation was so badly handled. On a Thursday morning, and this road is almost completely bare. Ohio State Route 2, westbound at 8:38 in the morning. 1, 2, 3 cars in front of me. 1 car behind me. It's gonna be ugly. Now, with all my bitching out of the way, we have got to take care of each other as much as possible during this. We have to learn to be kind. We have to learn to be compassionate. We have to learn to be patient. For those of you, most of you, I would imagine, who are going to be quarantined with other people, you're going to have to learn to practice patience, y'all. You're going to have to learn to be patient with each other and with yourselves. When you get to the point where you want to just start yelling at each other, take some time off. I don't care how small your place is. If it's a 1-bedroom apartment, one of you go in the bedroom, one of you go in the living room or the bathroom. Take some time away. Take care of one another. I'm single and I live alone. This is gonna be rough for me. I love my alone time, don't get me wrong. Holy cow, do I love my alone time, but I too need company. It's one of the reasons I'm going to work. This isn't gonna last much longer. I hope I don't catch whatever. I hope somebody in the building who's asymptomatic isn't walking around shedding that virus all over the place. I'm trying to mostly stay away from everybody anyway. Today and tomorrow, and if we make it to Saturday especially, I'm going to tell people, stay the fuck away. Keep your distance. If I had actual 100% concrete proof that we're not getting through this weekend without the quarantine, I would probably not even go to work today. I'm 99.9%, especially from the conversations and information from last night. And I'll tell you what, I've been stressing out. My level of stress has been cranked up exponentially every day that I've woken up over the last 7 days. Since just about this time last week. Sorry, I'm also very tired. I'm late to work because I couldn't sleep. I'm too stressed out over this whole thing. Again, last night I had to force myself to eat half of a sandwich. I'm gonna lose weight rapidly. Play games, use the internet. Keep in mind that, everybody is gonna be home. Everybody's gonna be using the internet. Everybody's gonna be on their cell phones and shit. The networks might not be able to handle this stuff indefinitely, okay? I'm sure that people are going to be allowed and escorted to the proper areas in the proper buildings to make sure that, the internet keeps working and the cell service keeps flowing, because we all have to stay in touch. And now, with the majority of landlines eliminated, cell phones and internet are basically our lifeline for staying in touch with one another, and that includes every level of government, local, state, and federal. So trust me when I say they're going to do everything they can to make sure that the internet and cell service stays on. If they do go out, do not freak out, okay? Call your provider, find out what the deal is. Might just be a quick outage in your area. I had that the other day. In the midst of reading stuff and watching videos and seeing shit compiled, in the middle of full-blown conspiracy brain mode. I was like, why is my internet suddenly out? It was only a couple hours. It was literally only like 2 hours. And I know that because it took me a little over half an hour to settle on what DVD I wanted to watch. And then, of course, hooking up my PS4. But if you temporarily lose service on something, don't panic, all right? We're used to being out and about. We're used to having complete and total freedom. We're used to being able to go wherever we want, whenever we want, whatever time of day. It's one of the wonderful things about living in this country. But we have to cut that off. We should already have been doing this. People should already have been made to do this. We have literally watched how many other countries go through this exact same thing. We've all seen the videos. Here's this guy, laid up in the hospital on a ventilator, damn near critical condition. And here's a video of him from 10 days ago, still doing touristy things, hanging out, just doing whatever. Look at me. Hey, there's an outbreak. It doesn't matter. It matters. It's mattered the entire time. We've lost precious time, and we're going to lose a lot of people because of this. You have to understand that our system is not set up for this, okay? I don't want people to panic, but I do want them to be informed. If you start showing symptoms, if you think something might be wrong, do not just go straight to the hospital. Call ahead first. If you are infected and no one there is, you can give them the infection. If you're not infected and people there are with various types of things, it's a hospital after all. It is where sick people go. You could get something, you could give something. That's why always call ahead. Tell them what your symptoms are. If you are symptomatic, there might be a particular route that they want you to take into the building, okay? You don't just go, walk right into the emergency room, okay? Call ahead first and get instructions and directions, please. Secondly, sanitizer is great, but soap and water. Soap and water, soap and water, soap and water. Wash your hands. Disinfect surfaces. Do a good clean on your entire living space, as good as you can get, as thorough as you can get. And I know the tone of this video hasn't exactly been positive, but stay as positive as you can. It's going to be rough, but we're going to get through this. I mean, we really have no choice, right? This thing is happening. whether you want it to or not. I'm sorry if you've already got some heavy stuff going on in your life. I'm kind of already the same way. I deal with anxiety and depression. My life is already not a picnic, and it's only gotten worse over the last few years, okay? God, I can't even. I'm worried about what the future holds. I'm worried for my parents. I'm worried for my brother and sister and my whole family. I'm worried for my friends and my coworkers. I'm worried about you. I'm worried about all of you, whether I agree with everything you have to say, do, believe, think, whatever. I'm worried about you all. I'm worried about all of us. And that's good. More people are gonna come to that realization. That they give more of a shit about their fellow human being than they thought they did. And we're gonna need that. And to those of you who are the eternal optimists out there, the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, always positive people, thank you very much, and continue that hard work. We're going to need your hard work almost as much as we're going to need the National Guard and our military services over the next few months. I don't think the quarantine is going to last for months. But possibly as long as a month. You'll see it soon. Stay calm, be good to each other, wash your hands, stay home. And I'm just about at work, so I'm gonna cut this off right about now. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, stay safe. And I love you.